What's up, my beautiful people? Kim Young Kim here, youth empowerment guru, rapper, and stand-up comedian. Now, I'm a big fan of stand-up comedy, and I find myself performing stand-up comedy at many different places. Sometimes I'm performing in front of audiences of teenagers. Sometimes I'm performing at company events where they hire me to rap and do comedy. And sometimes I'm performing in the men's restroom because when I see a pair of shoes, I tell myself, you got at least 5 minutes of undivided attention. Now, I'm kidding about that last part, but sometimes I do perform in comedy clubs, which are a lot like restrooms in the sense that you're not supposed to talk while you're in there, and also you shouldn't hand out your business cards, although sometimes I hand out my business cards in the restroom. It just depends on the situation. Maybe they're not that similar. One time I performed at this comedy club, and after my set, shortly thereafter, this big time comedian shows up. He's been on TV, he's been on tour with other big comedians, he's been on The Last Comic Standing. I mean, this guy's an accomplished comedian. And he goes up and he performs and he just kills. I mean, I'm just laughing my face off. He's amazing. Now, a couple weeks later, I'm at another club, about 15 people maybe in the audience, and I go up and I perform, and I have a brand new list of jokes, trying them out. I go up, and before I go up, I always visualize. I always visualize me up on stage, people just laughing their faces off, and just that's what I visualize. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes it doesn't. So I go up there, I'm telling my jokes, and every single joke just falls flat. No laughter. It was terrible. It's like crickets. It was like worse than crickets. It was like earthworms making noise underground and you having a stethoscope to the ground to hear it. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. Although, I don't know if that analogy works. But anyhow, I finish my set. I get off stage. I go outside. I feel terrible. And guess who's standing right there? Mr. Big Time Comedy. And I'm like, hey, man, what's up? Do you remember me? And he's like, yeah, what's going on? And I was like, hey, I just bombed. And he's like, welcome to the club. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? He's like, dude, I bomb all the time. I'm like, no, you're Mr. Big Time. You don't bomb. He's like, I bomb all the time. That's the nature of the business. Sometimes you got a tough audience. Sometimes you're doing new material and you don't get the laughs that you want. It's just a part of what we do. And as he's sitting here saying this to me, I'm sitting here saying to myself, you know what? He must be just trying to make me feel better, whatever. And then, not that long after, he goes up on stage and he starts performing. And some of his jokes hit, and a lot of them completely miss. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy actually is bombing. And it reminds me of some important life lessons that I've learned. Number one, in order to be great, you have to be willing to fail. In order to have success, you have to be willing to fail. But beyond that, it proves the fact that in order to be great, you have to work hard. You have to work hard. There's all these jokes that he had to scrap, all these jokes that he had to rework. And then we see him on TV. We see these comedians and stars and so on and so forth, and we don't realize all the hard work that went into what they did. We don't realize all the stuff that they scrapped, and we don't realize that what we're seeing is their highlight reel. And we're comparing our behind the scenes to their highlight reel. There's this important quote that actually says that. I'll throw it up here. And that's a reality. You don't see everything that went into it. All you see is a finished product. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you want to be successful in life, you have to be willing to work hard. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to fail. And if you do all those things, you will get better. You will succeed. Now, Kevin Hart says it very poignantly in his Twitter profile. If you ever look at his Twitter profile, it says, I'm Kevin Hart and I work hard. Everybody wants to be famous. Nobody's willing to do the work. And that's reality, guys. You have to be willing to do the work in order to be successful. All right, guys, so that's all I got for now. I will make more videos about life lessons that I learned doing stand-up comedy. But until then, take care of yourselves, and I will see you later. Or you will see me later. I'm actually not seeing you unless you pop up out of somewhere and say, hey, I'm that guy that watches your YouTube videos. That'd be kind of weird. Please don't do that. Okay? All right, peace.